What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel. And today we have to review Port Adelaide's clash against Hawthorn for round 11. A disappointing day down in Launceston, but let's have a look and see exactly how it panned out. Well, here we are once again reviewing another loss that really shouldn't have been a loss in the first place, which leads me to ask the question, where are we? Who are we? I mean, we've been saying for years now that we're this team that's going to take the breath away from AFL fans. We're the next consistent team. We're the ones that are going to take the next step into building the future of Port Adelaide's history. It's going to be the new era of making history for this club. And yet, the last 4 years we've had kind of the same problem. We've had inconsistent form. Our skills have cost us games. We're the middle of the road. That's what we are. We're in the middle of the road. We're in the bracket of, we're almost there, but then again, we're almost down here. It's so hard to pinpoint exactly why, because 1 week it's one thing, 1 week's another. Oh, last week, it was skills. We had poor skills. It cost us. This week, oh, it's discipline. We can't, keep it within our head. It's our mental thing. And when you step out onto the field, it is mentally the toughest game to play. It's also physically the most toughest game to play. But at the end of it, it's up to you to decide whether or not you want to take that next step into building the club, your teammates, and yourselves, your own legacy. At the end of the day, you're representing this, which is the jumper that solidifies you in many years to come as a Port Adelaide player. You're not an AFL player. You're not someone that steps out each week. It's not a job. It's a privilege. And to have this conversation to you guys to say, this is who we are, it's horrible. We all came into this year thinking, top four. We've got Rockcliffe, Motlop, Watts. If there's anyone that's going to change this, change them as players, it's going to be Port Adelaide. It's going to be Ken Hinkley. But now I'm starting to think, really? What are we? Yesterday's game was a perfect example that exactly displays how we are as a team. You have a great first start. You obliterate the opposition in the first quarter. We went 10 minutes without kicking a goal. Next minute, we kicked 3 goals in 2 minutes. We ended up winning the first quarter by 4 goals. I'm thinking, okay, this is fine. We're going to end up running away with this one. It's going to be great. And then we have a goalless second quarter. Lethargic, disappointing. Our skills were horrible. I'll get to the umpiring in a minute. But this was on us again. Continually, we lose games on our merit. Nothing to do with the opposition. Because I tell you what, if we played 4 quarters of Port Adelaide football every single week, every single side would be obliterated by 10 goals. That's how good we are. It's not cockiness. It's not me, being biased or whatever. It might be a little bit. But the point is the fact that we have a game plan we know works. And for all the people saying, Ken Hinkley has to go, it's not necessarily Ken's fault because he has players that go out there every week who continually be inconsistent, and he has to deal with that on top of making general changes each week, trying to make sure this team is up and about. It's so hard for him when he's got players that cannot even put in half an effort. I'm looking at you, Chad Wingard. Come on, mate. You were supposed to be this star months, years, 3, 4, 5 years ago. You were All-Australian 2, 3 times in a row. One of the best players in the competition. Lit the world on fire. And now we go to there to watch you give us a 13 disposal game and not even give us a goal. How can a player of his talent, his quality, not come out and perform at the standard he should? Robbie Gray does it every week. Travis Boak does it every week. Players like Pollack, Jonas, they're all just, giving 100%. And yet now we have players like Chad who can't put in a solid effort every week. And it's not just Chad Wingard. It is many, many others that don't put in an effort every week. And it's the main reason we keep losing. I'm not going to go through all the stats and say, oh yeah, this is exactly the moment we lost the game. This is exactly when, you know, we should have improved, blah, 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 blah. We know how good we are. We can't keep saying the same shit every single week for a review to say, we're going to improve. Because who knows now? Who knows? And it's me having a rant, but there's no influence from key personnel. And it's as simple as that. And I don't really want to bring it down on the fact that it was only 3 points in the end. It should have been a Port Adelaide win. We should be 7-3 comfortably in the top 8 with a game in hand still over the bye periods now where we have a good chance to, you know, solidify ourselves in the top 8. And yet now we're scrambling to make the 8 like we do every year because us as fans, we have to go through 23 weeks of anxiety because us as a team can't perform on the field. Coach's box is the same. It's not just Ken Hinkley as well. There's people in there that don't exactly know what they're doing. You know, who is that coach? We've got Michael Voss, Nathan Bassett, Brendan Lade, Nix, a couple of others that I've blatantly forgotten in my mind. Do we need key personnel changes in there too? Because you look at Richmond, they didn't get rid of Damien Hardwick. They got rid of their assistant coaches. Big clean out. They went on to win a premiership. Is it the same with us? Not quite sure. But I'm going to move on because, you know, I could rant for 20 minutes. That's as simple as that. Poor skills, poor efficiency. I mean, we did go at 72% yesterday, but it's not how... that was 72%, wasn't really effective at all. We didn't really take our opportunities going forward. We were quite slow at stages. First quarter was brilliant. That was probably the highlight of the game. But essentially, we lost it because we have... skills coming from the back to the forward line. Our transition once again broke down. It was quite slow. Chip to chip to chip. You know, it's like eating out of a Smith's bag. You just got to chip after chip.
And that is why we love these tasty, crunchy little beauties. Smiths, you know you love them.
A couple other things as well. There was no forward structure as well yesterday. So once we did get a transition, the first quarter was perfectly showcase of how we should play footy. And Jack Watts got on the end of a couple. Robbie Gray got on the end of a couple. Perfect movement. Quick, fast play. Dixon getting hit-ups. He was looking good early. And then all of a sudden it changed and he wasn't getting involved. He ended up kicking a goal. And then you got Jack Watts who only kicked one more for the rest of the game. He only kicked 4 goals after quarter time. And it was just that movement and slow play that we didn't have to really put the foot to the pedal. Put the pedal to the metal is what I meant to say. The other thing as well was obviously the umpiring. Matthew Nichols, you're an absolute joke of an umpire, mate. I'm not even going to blame you for the whole result, but your umpiring for many, many years against Port Adelaide now has been a disgrace, and all of us Port fans are sick of it. So once the day you retire will be the happiest day of the umpiring department's life because you're an absolute joke. And I'm just going to happily stand by that comment because I don't care anymore. Look, Alistair Clarkson got what he wants. He can now go have another coffee with you and say thank you very much because now we're back on the winners list. We'll see you in the finals. So I strongly recommend Kenny Hinkley taking Gill out for a nice coffee, maybe at Grange or somewhere down near his house or something, and have a little word to Gill, would you, Kenny? Because yesterday, umpiring was an absolute joke. 11 50-metre penalties. A kilometre of 50-metre penalties. Beyond a joke. Beyond a joke. So many more things happened wrong yesterday, and to lose by 3 points, you know, it's actually quite flattering. Because we could have lost by more, we could have won. Let's keep going with the review and look at our Champion of the Week. Alright, Champion of the Week. Let's lighten up a bit because I've had a rant for about 8 minutes and I'm quite up and about still. Robbie Gray is our Champion of the Week. Fantastic game yesterday, 13 disposals and 4 goals. But the main reason he's the Champion of the Week is because he flew back to Adelaide. He was with the team on Friday, flew back because his little child was sick. Spent the night with him, then flew back Saturday morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Flew back to play and ended up being our best on ground. So if you can play like that after being sleep deprived, I'd like to see you sleep nothing at all, Robbie Gray, because I reckon you're a star. But well done, you're the Champion of the Week. Alright, let's move on to the votes of round 11. Obviously 5 votes for a win, 3 votes for a loss, which is what we had this week. Tommy Jonas gets the first vote of the round. 15 disposals, 9 marks. Kept Jared Ruffhead to only the goal, which he ended up kicking very late in the game. So Tommy Jonas is having an absolute beamer of a year so far. Definitely All-Australian for me as well. But yeah, he gets the 1 vote. 2 votes goes to Justin Westhoff. Very, very good early. Faded out a little bit late in the game, but 20 disposals, 7 marks, and kicked a crucial goal in that first quarter as well to really, well, didn't really continue anything, did it? But he got a good goal straight from a Chad Wingard handball. And 3 votes goes to the man I said who was the champion of the week, Robbie Gray. 13 disposals, 4 goals, had a great influence down forward. And you know what? Having Rockcliffe in the middle now is really going to help him up forward, because if he's going to kick bags of goals like this, then all we need now is people like Charlie Dixon and a couple of others, Sammy Gray, to get on a couple of more, and we're going to end up kicking some more goals and winning some more games. The proof is in the pudding, Port fans. The proof is in the pudding. We just need someone to stir in the ingredients, and we'll find out next week against the Tigers. Thank you very much for tuning in, Port fans. I'm sorry it's been such a blatant and confronting review. I feel like I've been very angry, but I'm not. I'm quite complacent, really. It's still only round 11, 6 and 4, 9th on the ladder. We'll just have to keep pushing through. Big game Friday night against the Tigers. We're going to have to be on our game, and hopefully we always bounce back against a disappointing loss. So, yeah, we'll preview that on Thursday, so tune in for that as well. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe for plenty more Port Adelaide content coming your way every week, round by round. Portress Podcast, 8 PM every Wednesday night as well, so tune in for that. And as well, people on Spreaker who are listening and not watching through YouTube, thank you very much for tuning in as well via Port Fan Radio. Greatly appreciated. If you'd like to check out the rest of that, is in the link below, is what I meant to say. Thank you very much for tuning in, Port fans. My name is Anthony. See you next time. And as always, come the pair.